Yeah, hang on a minute. I'm almost done sharing. Welcome back to another episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak, and to my right, I got the man, the myth, the legend, Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cottrell. I think you're on mute, homie.
I don't know why that keeps happening to me, but I was saying I kind of like this little, two-man show. No shots at Shally there, but like I get all these extra monikers associated with my name with him not being here. Everything that normally goes to Bill, you just kind of add it on to the name there. I can get used to that.
I mean, dude, you deserve it. You're a fucking awesome. I'm a big Cottrell fan.
Me too.
If anybody didn't know, I'm a Cottrell and Audia fan. If you have a problem with it, then you can go somewhere and kick some rocks. I'm ready to rock and roll, and I'm ready for an amazing show. We have a lot to get into. We have the Super Bowl recap. I got a little thing to vent on in the NBA, and it's
okay.
gonna go. It's not gonna go over well.
Okay.
But we got a lot to get into, bro. I'm like fired up. I'll get into the NBA when we get to the NBA, but let's start a little hot wire action, and let's get fired up.
Absolutely. So I will go ahead and bring up the graphic here, and we're a little bit lighter this week on Hot Wire. Some small things kind of happening in the sports world though, but definitely some stuff we got to hit on. First things first here. You got FCS powerhouse North Dakota State University has officially announced that they will be moving up to the FBS side of things and joining the Mountain West Conference, specifically in football only, moving forward here, starting in the 2026 season. And with that being said there as well, typically under the general rules there, North Dakota State would not be eligible to compete for a conference championship during the first season. They would not be eligible for potentially making the college football playoff for the first two seasons there either, but they are ultimately contesting that, and they are looking to make the noise pretty much right away there. So, Gene, with all of that being said there, I know you know about North Dakota State University. How do you like this move for them? And, how soon do you ultimately expect them to start making noise up there with the big boys?
I mean, they won't. They're not going to compete for a national championship. They won't compete for a conference championship. What conference did they join?
Mountain West.
I mean, I guess they won't be like a walkthrough. They're obviously, and I love what they're doing, right? It'll take years, 5, 6, 7 years for them to actually be able to compete in a conference championship. But when you consistently keep running through, like, what's the name of the division they're in? FCS?
Yep, they're FCS.
When you keep running through shit like that, I feel like it's time that you have to take the next step up to the big dogs. And that's what they did. So all respect to them for doing it. They'll probably get better recruits. They'll probably end up being able to play bigger games. It's the small fish in the big pond theory. They were a big fish in a small pond. They're now a small fish in a big pond. And they got to learn how to eat. They got to find ways to get their eat. But I think they'll get there. I think they'll be fine. I don't see them not. They're a good program, good run program. I think they'll eventually get up there.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I agree there. I don't know if the turnaround time will be as long as you're kind of expecting there. The one thing that I definitely wanted to kind of point out, right away there is I look at James Madison essentially joined the FBS level in 2022. And they've already had, a conference championship. Now they've had a college football playoff berth already. And obviously we saw how the game, ultimately went with them in Oregon. So, they're not legitimate title contenders by any stretch of the imagination there. But North Dakota State is a really well-run program. And, I'd argue that they're run better than what James Madison is. And obviously we've seen how much success that they've had there. At that level. North Dakota State's a team that's won 10 national championships at the FCS level. So I honestly believe that I'm not going to say year one. I think year one would be a little little outrageous there, but I would not be surprised if in year 2 they absolutely competed for the Mountain West Championship, and we're talking about them as the team potentially from the group of 5 to make the college football playoff there. Like, I think they have that much talent, and let's not forget that while Colorado isn't necessarily your measuring stick, but last season when they still had Shador, when they had Travis Hunter, and they were a ranked team pretty much all season, that North Dakota State team gave them all that they could handle and then some. You know, it ultimately came down to the last possession of the game. And again, Colorado's not some crazy measuring stick, but while they had Shador and while they had Travis, I mean, they were ranked in the top 25 rather consistently. So, like, if that's the range that North Dakota State can be in, I think they're going to have a good opportunity to compete, not only in the Mountain West, but a team that we're going to also be talking about, you know, making some noise and stealing the group of 5 spot for the college football playoff.
Yeah, but the big difference is this, though. And this is what I think a lot of people miss. Colorado, the reason that teams like North Dakota State can compete with them is because they never built up their lines. Their offensive line and defensive line 2 years ago they were like Division II lines. The difference moving from FCS to Division I isn't the skill position players. Isn't scheme, isn't coaching. It's being able to get those 5-star recruits in the trenches. The line. You can see when some of these, I don't say little schools, but some of these like major schools, like, you know, not Oregon, not Ohio State, like some of the, like, I guess the littler schools, the biggest thing they run into is not their coaches are getting out coached. It's not the scheme doesn't work. It's the big guys push around the little guys. And when you own the line of scrimmage and you have 5 guys on your line that are athletic, 300-pound, 4-star, 5-star linemen, it's really tough to be able to make things happen. So, I mean, if we're being completely honest, I think that's where they'll struggle the most.
I agree, but I mean, I just ultimately think though that North Dakota State is one of those schools where you had a lot of those tweener guys that I kind of like to call them, where they could probably go play in the MAC or they could go play in, you know, one of the smaller conferences, Mountain West, for example. But if North Dakota State ultimately came calling, it was like, hey, you can be a starter here, you can, you know, play here for 3-4 years and win multiple national championships, and then ultimately go to the league. I mean, I think North Dakota State did a good job of already having a pipeline where they were getting guys who absolutely could have played up at the Division I level there. Like, I look at their past couple quarterbacks there. I look at Bryce Lance ultimately being their playing receiver for them. There's no doubt in my mind that he could have played at the FBS level the past couple of seasons there. But I 100% understand your point about the trenches. That definitely will be an adjustment there for them. But I think winning cultures ultimately matter there. And I think North Dakota State is just going to have to find a way to, you know, get some of those guys to ultimately come to the program, because I think skill position wise, we've seen it, you know, especially at the quarterback position. Obviously, not all of them are great, but you look back at the Carson Wentz's, the Easton Sticks, the Cam Millers, like all these guys ultimately got drafted. They've been NFL quarterbacks, so like the pipeline is there. So I think North Dakota State fans should absolutely be excited for the move.
I was not expecting the Easton Stick reference on here. I really wasn't. North Dakota State has out-recruited several schools like Wisconsin and Notre Dame for linemen many times, like Gray Zabel. They haven't recruited skill positions good because of FBS. Hey, I love that. That's a great comment. That's a great comment.
Yeah, Gray Zabel was absolutely incredible, and was a fun one coming out because you had the question marks about him. He was absolutely dominant at the FCS level. Then he went down to the Senior Bowl and showed out, and you know that he could do it against the top dogs there. So I'm excited for North Dakota State. I think that transition will not take long for them to compete. And like you said, they are ultimately going to be one of those teams that are going to be a tough out every time you play them.
Oh, no, I see the rebrand. I follow you, bro.
Logo is fire. I see it.
I like the logo. Of course, graphic designer. That's what he does. Nice logo, brother. Nice logo. Good talking to you, though. Let's move on.
All right, absolutely. So next, we had I don't know if you got the chance to see it live, because I didn't even see it live. Bro, I saw it going over around social media, and I'm like, what is happening here? You had an all-out brawl between the Hornets and the Detroit Pistons, and you had punches thrown. Obviously, you had ejections, and we've now learned we've had some suspensions ultimately come out. So you had Isaiah Stewart, who ultimately left the bench area and took a couple swings at Miles Bridges. He got seven games. Miles Bridges got 4 games. Musa Diabate got 4 games, and then Jalen Duren got 2 games.
And it was all started because Musa Diabate tried acting tough.
It did, but I will say Jalen did like poke him in the head though, like close to the eyeballs area, and then try to like back away and be like, you know what, we're just playing basketball, whatever. So you're 100% right. The Diabate was definitely the igniter in this situation here. But do you think these suspensions were fair? Were you expecting more? Were you expecting less? Like what were you? What was your take with
I
this?
think it should have been more when you have that type of brawl. And listen, you have to like set the precedent. There wasn't like there was a really hard foul, a little disrespect, but there wasn't like a really hard foul or like an intent to injure. Like I understand sometimes where guys get wrestled up and it ends up turning into a fight, but it almost felt like one guy was trying to act tough, and then Miles Bridges, the way he reacts to things, it's the way he's been for years. He reacts. Okay, you want to act tough? You're not tough. Let me show you you're not tough. And then bench is clear because of it. You have to set the precedent. Number one, you can't come off the bench. That will create chaos. If bench is clear in basketball, being that the fans are so close,
Yep,
that creates chaos. So you have to I think it should have been more. I get it. Like it's a fight. It is what it is. But if you suspend them for 15 games, that's like 20% of his season. A little bit less, like 18%.
yeah.
I guarantee he doesn't leave the bench anymore to get in a fist fight.
I'm of the same mindset with you, and I think not necessarily with all the guys that were on the court, but Isaiah Stewart absolutely has. I absolutely thought he was going to get more games with the situation that was happening there, and I also think the surprising part about it is that not that you should punish teams based on where they're at seating wise, but like I feel like you should account for, hey, this is a Pistons team that is playing both of these teams. Charlotte's playing well, and the Pistons are playing as a 1 seed in the East. So like I feel like the punishment should have ultimately came out. They should have been stern. You say 15 games. I think that's a really good number, 15, 20 games, and you make it all after the All-Star break. So they really count towards, what Detroit's outlook looks like for the rest of the season there. And then on the flip side with Charlotte, I get it. They weren't as aggressive. Like Miles Bridges definitely deserved to be suspended. A lot of his reactions, though, were reactive, not, proactive per se. I mean, Isaiah Stewart runs after you. Like, of course, you're going to swing back. But I definitely thought it should have been more all around. Honestly, Jalen Duren getting 2 games, like that was the only one that kind of felt right because yes, the disrespect was ultimately there, but like he could have done so much more. So I feel like that's like the only one that I thought was right.
I felt like Jalen Duren was the only one that like even 2 games, I would have been fine with him just an ejection. No suspension. I don't think like the funny thing is this, right? That reminded me of like a Shih Tzu, like starting a fight with like a pug, and the pug smacking the Shih Tzu, and then the Rottweiler comes off the sideline. Like that felt like that. I'm not calling Miles Bridges soft or anything, but not Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, he looks for these fights. I feel like he's more of a fighter than he is an NBA player.
For sure. And he even said that. He was like, that's you think the Pistons pay me this amount of money for me not to come off the bench? Like if there's a fight going on, what do you think I'm supposed to do? So
he's paid to be their enforcer.
Absolutely. And that's absolutely what he's done. We've seen it before with him in multiple different situations there. So I'm just surprised. And the crazier part about it is that you have multiple kind of these scrums, these fights happening this past week in basketball. So I really thought because, and granted, none of them were to this extent, but also I think because how many happened, I think it was 3 total that happened last week. I thought that might also play into it a bit of, these games ultimately being more as far as the suspensions go.
It's tough to watch, and I'll get into the NBA during the NBA segment because it's part of it. But I do want to give a shout out to Charlotte. I don't know how much Charlotte Hornets basketball you've watched, Cottrell, but let me tell you something right now. I think they're the most fun team in the NBA to watch right now. LaMelo Ball's playing at a very high level. Brandon Miller is finally playing at a level in which he was drafted at. And Con Knipple, this guy has absolutely proven me wrong. I'm right on a lot of prospects. Con, I called him Corey Kispert. And I called Corey Kispert trash. I said he's a better version of Corey Kispert. I remember when I said it. And all of a sudden, Con is showing you he's no Corey Kispert. He's no Corey Kispert. That kid, I'll tell you right now, he's going to we'll get into the 3-point contest when we get there, but I'll take him over anybody. I know you probably take your best friend and pal, but I'm taking Con Knipple. I don't think I've seen him miss an open 3 this year.
The crazy part about it is that obviously VJ's also been really good this year, but top 2 rookies coming from the same school. I didn't have Con on my bingo card either. Like, I thought VJ obviously had a shot to be really good. I thought he was one of those consensus top 4 pick guys, like that we talked about before the draft there. Con was absolutely one of those ones where I was like, I think he's one of those ones where if you get stuck with him in the lottery, like you're going to be upset with the production that he's giving you. And I wasn't as down as Corey Kispert, but I was definitely down on him, and I didn't think
he's a better version of Corey Kispert. So I didn't say he was Corey Kispert. I say he's better. First of all, I've called a lot of stiffs in the NBA. I've called them like stiffs. I've called plenty of them. Remember, what was that big stiff that got drafted? Alex Lynn. I said the most you're going to hear Alex Lynn's name is on draft night. After draft night, you'll never hear about him again. I was dead right.
For sure.
Fourth. Like fourth.
No, it's definitely wild. I mean, the rookie of the year race will be fun to see coming down the stretch here. I mean, I think it's Cooper's to lose ultimately with how he's been playing, but I think Con's
so
been
much better than I ever could imagine. Like, I thought Cooper Flag was incredible. I didn't think he was this incredible. I didn't think he'd be this incredible year one. He's generational, bro. Like, people talk about Wemby being like a class of his own in like number 1 picks. Cooper has every skill and talent to be up there with Wemby. And he's 19. Wait, I think he's 18. He turns 19 this year.
I think a part of it too is the way that Dallas has ultimately gone about it. Getting rid of Anthony Davis. Not saying that was like your guy, but not trying to make this Mavs team, and granted, they started off the year really rocky, so you really didn't have to worry about it, but not trying to make this Mavs team competitive this season. I think that's been a great way to go about it.
He just turned 19 2 months ago. That's so December 21st, he turned 19 years old. Young, like so young. There's so many good players that are really young in the NBA. Ace Bailey starting to finally turn it in and look like a better player. By the way, that threesome, we're getting in the NBA too fast, but that threesome over there in Utah has an opportunity to be a really big 3 with Jaren Jackson, Lauri Markkanen, and Ace Bailey. I believe in that.
You believe in the vision now? You got it?
I do. I really do. I believe in Joe Hendry too. Joe Hendry.
Is he about to be our third host tonight? Say his name and he'll appear.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. Anything else, Charlotte Pistons wise, before we go over NFL and get into some Super Bowl talk?
We're gonna talk about Kubiak, right?
Yep, absolutely. But he's gonna be the perfect little segue, obviously, where he's from, to go into the Super Bowl recap there. But now that the NFL season is officially over, the Seahawks are done playing football games. Clint Kubiak has officially been announced as the next Raiders head coach. Obviously, it was like one of the worst kept secrets. We kind of knew about this for the past week and a half at this point, 2 weeks. So
3 weeks ago.
With that said, though, do you ultimately think that he's going to be a good fit for them? And do you think this Raiders team will have success under his watch?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great fit. And it sucks because, like, part of me wants to go, no, I don't think he's going to be a good fit. They should have hired my guy. but I think he's a great fit for Vegas. He does a lot of good things, right? He's good for running backs. You have that in Ashton Genty. He's good for quarterbacks. You have that in Fernando Mendoza. And he's huge on building up the offensive line. And his thought process is going to be, we're drafting Mendoza and we're putting all our money into our offensive line. I don't care if the Raiders lose every game next year, 41-38. If that offense is cooking the way they should, it's a good hire. Because next year is not about winning. It's about developing. And I think Clint Kubiak will do a great job developing Fernando Mendoza. Dude, they have a Cadillac. They have a fully loaded Cadillac. They got Mendoza, Genty, Bowers. That Cadillac is ready to ride. Let's get some good friggin' tires. Let's get it some good tires, and that's that offensive line. I wouldn't invest $1 into my defense. I don't care if we lose. Draft defense next year. It doesn't matter. Everything I do this year would be to build up my offensive line. So Mendoza has Genty, and Genty can develop, and Bowers. You have Bowers, Genty, and Mendoza on rookie contract. And Mayer. I love Mayer. And you run 2 tight end sets. You run a little extra protection. I love that. I'll buy into Vegas right now.
I buy into Kubiak. These offensive coordinator hires also can just go, they can go one of 2 ways, you know. We see it all the time where coordinators that's what they are, offensive coordinators. And especially, I'm sure Kubiak's going to be the play caller there in Vegas as a first-time head coach, and being the play caller, sometimes that can be a little bit too much responsibility for you. So I think Kubiak is a great offensive mind. I think Vegas will have success with him at the helm, but I definitely have some question marks there, especially because of, you know, all that they still need. Like, you talk about Mendoza being their quarterback, which I'm not as high on Mendoza, but I can at least understand it. You know, first overall pick, he's going to be that. Like, he has talent. You have Genty, who, of course, was the top running back last year, has talent. You got Brock Bowers, who is, by all accounts, probably the best tight end in all of football. So, like, I understand it, but you still don't have receivers. You still don't have an offensive line. And I get it. They can put money into that. But how long, especially when we've seen what the Raiders do? I mean, they feel like they change.
Yo.
I don't know how often that you're gonna, like, how long Kubiak's leash is ultimately gonna be there in Vegas. So, like, that's the one thing I worry about with him. Will they give him enough time to ultimately figure it out and actually build a culture there in Vegas?
I'm a believer. Tom Brady is there. He knows how to win. He's part owner. I believe. I do. I believe in Vegas. I really do. Buy stock in Vegas. I love the stadium. I love what they're building. Look, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the hire. I think that is one of the top jobs to take over. Expectations are low. You have your franchise quarterback. You get to draft number 1 overall. You have a running back to build around on a rookie contract. You have look, Trey McBride would like to have a word about who the best tight end in football is, but we can talk about that on another time. I like Brock Bowers too. It's one of those things, but you also have Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer is a very good tight end that just looking for the right opportunity to flourish. And Mayer's probably a better blocker than Bowers. So you get both of them in the game at the same time, and you run full 11 personnel.
I guess the biggest question mark that I will have moving forward here is, I mentioned it already with how much lease they ultimately give him, but if the Raiders are even as good as you think they can be in the future, that's going to be, AFC West is going to be the toughest division in football. You had, you know, obviously 2 playoff teams this year. The Chiefs are still going to have the best quarterback in the league in Patrick Mahomes for probably the next 10 years. And then you have this Raiders team that's ultimately up and coming there. So, I mean, something's got to give in that division. I'm kind of excited to see what ultimately happens there. So it'll be fun times to see how active Vegas gets this free agency, I suppose. And then ultimately see what happens with Max Crosby. Because I think if you can recoup some assets for him, that'll also help you long term there as well.
By the way, I meant 12 personnel. I said that wrong, but you got
What'd you say?
I said 11 personnel. I meant 12 personnel, but regardless, I think it's a great hire. I'm very excited to see what happens with Vegas. I'm a believer in Mendoza. I know a lot of people aren't, especially on this show, but I'm a believer in him. I think he's going to be very good. So I'm gonna stick with it.
With that said, I know we're about to talk Super Bowl, but just because we're talking about Kubiak, I'll ask you this here just real quick. How big of a loss do you feel Kubiak's void will leave Seattle for next season?
Depends who they hire as offense coordinator. If they promote from within, if they do the Philadelphia thing and screw it up, then yeah, it's going to be a huge issue. But if they hire another offensive coordinator, that's a good offense coordinator, then no. I think it's a huge loss regardless, man. Sam Darnold's played for Kevin O'Connell and Clint Kubiak the last 2 years. That is what he's done well. You look at this year, Jackson Smith and Jigba had. I'm not saying JSN isn't a top 5 receiver in football. I don't think he's a top 5 receiver in football in every system. I just don't. Like, if you were to put Jackson Smith and Jigba up against A.J. Brown in a normal system, I would take A.J. Brown 10 times out of 10. If you're going to put Jackson Smith and Jigba up against CeeDee Lamb in a normal system, I'm taking CeeDee Lamb 10 times out of 10. Kubiak's system allowed Jackson Smith and Jigba to have the best wide receiver season we've seen this year. And nothing against JSN. I think JSN's great. But, like, put JSN and Puka on a wall. Who are you taking 100 times out of 100? I'm taking Puka.
I get it.
Yeah. And that, once again, nothing against JSN. Think he's great. Also, by the way, I didn't know how good of a kid he was. Like, he's a good dude. Like, listen to him talk. Like, just absolutely well-mannered personality. Not a typical wide receiver diva. Not cocky. Just very, like, you know, we're going to do our best and we're going to work. I don't know, man. I just like listening to him talk. I root for him now.
That's, I will say, just not to toot the horn, but that's your typical Ohio State receiver. That Garrett's like that. Olave is like that. The only one that's obviously just a little bit off is your boy Michael Thomas.
My boy, my boy, Slant boy.
Michael Thomas is the only one that's a little bit off there, but yeah, he's definitely reserved, and I think a lot of that is by design with Heartline. But I mean, that's too much on the Ohio State guys. Let's get into the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
That dud, guys. I was wrong. Listen. You guys had it pegged. I did not have it pegged. You know, it's funny. When the Super Bowl got announced, I said, I'm not going to give my prediction yet, but I think I'm on Seattle. Like, I think Seattle should win the Super Bowl. And I said that Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday. I kind of teetered. And then I got stronger in my conviction that New England would win the Super Bowl. Here's the problem.
Okay.
I think that so many people are overreacting right now. Overreacting to the Patriots losing the Super Bowl. So I have a little game for you, and I know how you're going to react. Let's talk about this. You know what? Let's talk about the Super Bowl first. But I have a game for you. So I know you're going to overreact. I know it's coming because I heard what you guys said last week. But I was wrong about the game, and I'm happy for Seattle. I couldn't be happier for some of those guys. The Sam Darnold revival story. K9's going to win Super Bowl MVP and get paid this offseason. He's a free agent, Super Bowl MVP, and getting paid. Love that. Jackson Smith and Jigba couldn't be a better dude. I love me some Mike McDonald. Guy's a very good coach, great defensive guy. Devon Witherspoon. A lot of those guys just deserve it. Nicky Manwari, a guy that you were huge on coming out of the draft. I remember you doing a breakdown of Nicky Manwari on Real Recognizes Real. I'm looking forward to next year, but man, I'm happy for the guys from Seattle. I'm not bitter about being wrong, but I do think the media and the masses have severely overreacted to this loss for New England.
When you say overreacted, I guess what aspect do you mean?
I knew it. I knew the schedule. They stood up good. Drake May's overrated. I knew it. I hated that. I hated listening to that. He went against the number 8, the number 5, the number 1, and the number 3 defense in the NFL in the playoffs. Second year in the league. I knew it. The schedule. That's why he did it. Man, stop. They're a good football team. They lack a couple weapons. They need another receiver. Drake May needs a little bit more experience, and they need to absolutely shore up that offensive line because Will Campbell got beat like he stole something in the Super Bowl.
That he did.
But with that being said, you have to fully understand that this Patriots team is being built the right way with the right culture, and they have the franchise quarterback there. Don't jump off the Drake May bandwagon because he didn't look good in the Super Bowl.
So I think I'm going to find myself somewhere in the middle because
don't be on the fence, Shally. Don't be.
I'm not. No. It's not necessarily on the fence, but like I'm not saying that. And even from what I said last week, I'm not saying that Drake May's overrated. Hell, I wasn't even going that far with it. I said what he had done so far in the playoffs, and obviously this game in the Super Bowl was his worst of the. Because I don't count the Broncos game fully on him. Like, I get the conditions got bad later on in the third quarter, moving on there. I didn't think he played great before that, but I would definitely say the Super Bowl was his worst performance of the playoffs so far. So I was just saying that ultimately throughout these playoffs as a whole, Drake May had 8 turnovers. So to actually watch the first 3 football games, for me, it wasn't a shock to see that he really just kept playing how we saw him playing the first 3 playoff games. And it's not a knock on him. He's a second-year quarterback. This is a team that absolutely was not supposed to be here this year. The Patriots absolutely overachieved. So, like, this isn't a full knock on him because in that same breath, he absolutely deserves to be runner-up in MVP. And hell, if he won the award this year, I wouldn't have necessarily been mad at it. So, like, I think both things can be true there. But I also think that if you actually looked at, the first few games there, Drake May didn't play great leading up to that. And we knew how good the Seahawks defense was.
He didn't play great. Before we get into the game, because we're talking about Drake May, I want to do a Drake May award.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you my answers after you give yours.
Okay.
But it's Drake May or where's Kyle? Is Kyle Edwards in here?
I want him here. Taking Drake to the wheels fall off.
Well, no. I just want him here. Drake May or franchise quarterback edition.
Okay.
Right. So I got a list of quarterbacks that are 25 and younger.
Okay.
Drake May or Michael Penix.
Drake May.
I'm starting easy. Drake May or Bryce Young.
Drake May.
Drake May or Cam Ward.
Drake May.
Okay. I feel like I'm starting off pretty easy. No, you kind of slighted a little bit there. It's not like
I'm just thinking, granted, Cam Ward, we haven't seen him, he absolutely was a rookie last year. Drake May's rookie season, he was all right, but I'm just thinking, that's all. Drake May, though. Conviction.
Drake May or Bo Nix.
Drake May.
Okay. Drake May or JD5.
Jaden Daniels.
I'm still staying with May. I'm with May here. Drake May or CJ Stroud.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
I found it very interesting. I didn't realize how young CJ Stroud was.
Yeah. Yeah, he came out at 21. So he's only 3. Oh, is he 24 now? Because he's been 3 years in the league now. So he's got to be 24, 25.
He's 23. CJ Stroud's younger than Jaden Daniels.
Interesting. So right now it's impossible not to say Drake May, but I'm not writing off CJ Stroud at this point. But it's Drake May is the answer.
Drake May or Brock Purdy?
No, I feel about Brock Purdy now.
I do. You just call him a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. You said, have to. I never forget the. I'm like, no, you don't
have to. You have to.
You have to say he's a top 10 quarterback. No, he's not. He's not.
I'm as somebody like Eugene, who I know watches all 22 film. Yeah. Brock Purdy was absolutely incredible this past season.
He was.
especially with what was around him and
You're absolutely
throughout
correct.
the
He's not
season.
a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
I'm taking Brock Purdy.
Okay. I got 3 more for you. These are 25 or younger. Drake May or Trevor Lawrence. Another guy, I didn't realize how young he was.
I'm taking Trevor Lawrence.
I'm taking T-Law. You know I'm taking T-Law. Drake May or Caleb Williams, the Iceman.
You know who I'm taking here. You know I got Caleb.
I'm taking Caleb also. And the last one, and I think this one is, I guess, how do I word this? I think this one's the most interesting one. Drake May or Jordan Love. Franchise quarterback edition.
See, I would go Drake May. I think Jordan Love I think he has the tools, but I'm one of the believers that I believe Jordan Love is a tad bit overrated.
By the way, I love the comment, y'all. By the way, we had a whole line, and that was absolutely intentional. I started them off easy. I worked it up. A lot of Drake May. Drake May over CJ, no questions. Brock Purdy over him. It's when it changed. Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, little sunshine action. T-Law. But we ended it with Jordan Love's too inconsistent. Drake May. I'm with you. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. I appreciate the love in the chat. Keep throwing that love in the chat. I love y'all checking us out. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to the Super Bowl as itself.
Okay.
Horrible football game. 12-0 at halftime. I'll say this, right? For somebody that's supported Drake May all year, who called him the MVP week 6, when you look at him in that first half, he looked shook. Like, you look him in the face. He looked scared.
Super Bowl scary.
It didn't. I feel like when people get in that moment, you find out a lot about them. I'm not saying the kid won't learn or grow from it. But you're talking about a kid that came from North Carolina. He's never played in a game like this in his life. Never.
Yep.
And each round, it felt like it got scarier. The first round, you had it home. You had, a beat-up Chargers team. You really didn't have to do much. The second round, you did have it home, but it was in the snow, and you had the run game and a beat-up Texans team. Round 3, got to go on the road into a hostile environment in Denver, but you had no quarterback you're going against. And then in the biggest stage of them all, I'm not saying he won't grow, but when you looked him in the eyes, you've seen that I'm not ready yet. And I have faith in the kid. I have faith in Rabel. I have faith in McDaniel. I have faith in the Patriots organization. But you've seen something watching that football game. And if you're a Patriots fan and you're listening, don't lie to yourself. Your eyes didn't lie. His eyes, deer in the headlights, scared to throw the ball certain places, threw the ball almost into the turf, gripping it too hard, throwing it. When you see a quarterback throwing the ball down, it's because he's trying to avoid defenders. It's the age-old thing that he's forcing the ball into a certain spot. And then in the second half, it was very obvious. Mike Rabel said, bro, you got nothing to lose. We're down 12-0. Start airing it out. And he started making mistakes. Two picks. Or a fumble. I don't know what you want to call the one. Was it a fumble or a pick? I don't know.
I think they scored it as a fumble first and then changed it to a pick. So
got the job without proper training. And now the training manual is skipped over. It's happening before him. And he don't know what to do. I don't disagree with that. I think he should have got the job. I think he did all the training. I just think that you learn through experience in those football games. He definitely was afraid of messing up in the first half. Now, what I felt bad for that Patriots defense. One player in particularly stood out to me. And that player is Seagon. Christian Gonzalez had himself a game. Next 5 years, you taking Christian Gonzalez or Devin Witherspoon?
Christian Gonzalez.
You said that with like conviction, no thought. You thought about Drake May over Bryce Young longer than you thought about Christian Gonzalez.
The only corner in the NFL that I'm taking over Christian Gonzalez at this point is Derek Stingley.
Yeah, Derek Stingley.
He's the only one. PS2 is like, of course, in that conversation too, but like definitively who I'm taking over Gonzalez at this point right now would be Stingley. He's the only one. Christian Gonzalez, it was one of those guys where I'm not going to say I was iffy on him. I always thought he was good. I just wanted to see more out of him as a true number one corner. And I saw everything I had to see this season from him.
Incredible. I would take Stingley over him. I take PS2 over him. Call me a homer, but I love me some Quignon. I'm not necessarily taking him over him yet.
Okay.
He's right there in the conversation.
You know I love Quignon too.
Quignon Bay.
At Toledo, I was on top of him before the draft happened.
You're absolutely right. I never watched the Toledo game. You're not lying to yourself. I don't know. They took a corner out of Quignon. I was like, they got to take Cooper DeJean. And then they took Cooper DeJean in the second round. I'm like, I don't know how that happened. But whatever. It worked out well. The guy is ridiculous, and the height is uncontested, especially with how he moves for his size. I don't disagree with you. What did you think about the football game, Cheryl? Love to hear your opinions.
I mean, as a whole, just sticking with the love of Christian Gonzalez, I thought he was the best player on the field, both sides of the ball. I know, obviously, Walker got MVP there, and that was well-deserved. But Christian Gonzalez was a big reason why that game wasn't over before halftime. The deep ball to Shaheed, even if it's not a touchdown, I thought Shaheed was falling down. But even if it's not a touchdown, ultimately, you have to think that that's going to turn into points one way or another there. So that was a huge play. The one on JSN, obviously Sam Darnold threw it a little bit behind him, but for a lot of other people, that could be a touchdown there as well. So I thought Christian Gonzalez played absolutely out of his mind. But as a whole, though, I definitely feel for those Patriots defenders, like everybody on the Patriots defense, because they were really doing pretty much everything they needed to slow down that Seattle offense. And it was just one of those, bend but don't break, bend but don't break, bend but don't break. And then obviously in the second half there, you're going up against a great offensive mind like Clint Kubiak. You're going up against the, high-powered offense like the Seattle Seahawks have been. And they have not made the mistakes on offense either. They went the entire postseason without having one turnover. So for that to ultimately happen, it's going to be tough to beat a Seattle team when they're playing like that. And on the flip side of it, you have their defense playing absolutely lights out. So I thought this game was a boring one, not just because it was lower scoring, because like we all expected that to be the case. But I thought it was more so boring because there was no counterpunch, if you get what I'm saying. Like there was never a moment where I felt like Josh McDaniels was like, all right, we see that they keep blitzing us this way. We're gonna, throw a cross screen here to just go against the grain and try and pick up some cheap yards or things like that. Like that ultimately didn't happen. It just felt like rinse and repeat for 3 quarters. And then it finally started to open up there as we got later on in the game. But at that point, it was too little too late. And then, of course, Drake started pressing and we saw the 2 turnovers there at the end. So give a ton of credit to Seattle. But, ultimately, I think it's one of those things where Seattle's defense, their mindset coming in had to be make Drake May uncomfortable, and you'll see that the offense will not function how it's supposed to because they had absolutely nothing going in the run game.
Okay. Let's take a step forward here, right? So when you're looking at everything that broke down in this football game, I think Kenneth Walker played out of his mind. I think he was playing great football. And when Zach Charbonnet went down, he earned himself some money. Drake May, when you watch that all 22, missed a lot. And I mean a lot of open receivers. You don't get to see it on the broadcast. And I invite you. Matter of fact, anybody who wants to, I'll give you my NFL Plus logins. Rewatch that game. No, they didn't. It's not accurate. It sounds like it's accurate. I love it, Derek. Not accurate. The Eagles didn't blitz Patty. They won with a 4-man rush. The Seattle Seahawks blitzed Drake and confused him, and Drake May did not find the open receiver. Patty Mahomes, they had 7 guys dropping in the coverage. He had nowhere to go with the ball. See, this is not.
That wasn't this game. This wasn't
correct. I love when there's a great defensive battle, and I know that this is like a conversation that comes up, like defensive, like that's not what happened with New England. You can admit it. You don't have to admit it. It's fine. Watch the all 22. I'll give you my login, Kyle. I'll give you my login. You'll see how many receivers Drake May missed that were wide open. Even on the interception. If you look at that interception that he threw, the deep ball, he had 10 yards of separation if he throws the ball to the right sideline.
Yep. Put it on the pylon. That might be something.
I think the Patriots defense played great. I think the Seattle Seahawks defense played great. I can watch good defensive football. There were a bunch of passes that should have been caught also. Bro, I know you're a Patriots fan, bro, but this is what I mean about me. I just gave a whole soliloquy of how I think Drake May is him. But in the same respect, I think there's too much on both sides. It reminds me of this whole like Democrat-Republican bullshit. Like you can't be in the middle. You can't watch something and just say, oh my God, that's like normal. Drake May hate is way too much, and the Drake May excuses are way too much. Is that fair? There's no middle ground. Watch the game. He played a bad football game. Is he a good young quarterback? He's 23. He's a very good young quarterback. He played a bad football game. Did the defense play great for Seattle? Absolutely. Did they have a good game plan? Absolutely. But it's not a defensive struggle when the quarterback plays awful. And he played awful. Awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see it. Even like I haven't went back and actually watched the all 22, but you kind of saw it on the broadcast. Like there was definitely opportunities where things were there. Like I think about that drive, the drive after the Mac Hollins touchdown when the Patriots got the ball back. It felt like, Drake May was getting into a rhythm. And even on the broadcast, you had Collinsworth that basically said, like, all right, Patriots offense starting to get in the rhythm. And then literally next play throws the pick. And not only was it a bad throw in itself, it was something that didn't necessarily need to be done. Like if you're going to miss your receiver in that spot, you have to miss it where it's floating out of bounds or put it in a spot where only your player can ultimately get it there. So I'm with you. I thought that Drake didn't play a good game at all by any metric. But even with that being said, again, if you're a Patriots fan, you have to be okay with how this happened because you weren't supposed to be in the Super Bowl this year anyway. Everything that happened after, winning your first playoff game really was a plus. You weren't supposed to be 14-3 this year. You weren't supposed to be the 2 seed, and you damn sure weren't supposed to have the runner up for MVP and a spot in the Super Bowl. So you should be thinking that everything moving up here should be gravy, and that the sky should be the limit for this team.
I gotta do this. I have to do this. I wouldn't be me if I didn't do this. Guys, this is not a political show. We will not get into politics.
Uh-oh, where are we going?
We're going to halftime show.
Okay.
And if you're a person that had a problem with the halftime show, I need you to explain to me why you're a resentful human being. I mean, he didn't play great in the Broncos game either. Makes you wonder, is that shoulder 100%? Come on, bro. Come on. He set a record. And see, I don't like that either. That's garbage time times 100, bro. I need someone to explain to me in the chat. Like, help me. I don't want to argue. Actually, I'm lying. If you have a problem like with the Super Bowl halftime show, especially with the message that was presented, There was a wedding. There was a child that was there that was detained. Like, and I'm not getting into the whole ICE thing. I'm not going to argue it back and forth about that. I'm not doing that. But the message was peace, love, happiness, and inclusion. And yet we had like a Kid Rock lip sync one song on YouTube, and people are lying over their numbers. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? If you don't like the halftime show, go get a slice of pizza. Talk to your friends. Shut up. Guys, Katy Perry is nowhere in my Spotify playlist. I'm not listening to Daisy Dukes and Bikinis on Top. Did I complain about the left shark? No. I don't care. If I don't like the show, guess what I do? I watch the commercials. I get a bite to eat. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? Oh, and by the way, for those saying, oh, it's not an American. Puerto Rico's American. You do realize that's stupid. And then the second part, why is he doing the halftime show? You guys know the NFL is trying to go global. Why don't you go ahead and Google the number one artist in the world right now? Go Google it. I'll wait. We'll pause the show. Go Google it. I just don't understand the ignorance and hate of people. I'm not on either side of the fence. Cottrell will tell you I'm probably the most moderate human being on the planet. Am I lying?
No.
I can't understand the ignorance of people. I just don't get it. Bro, I've removed like 5 people from like my Facebook because of how ignorant comments they made. Cottrell, you could speak on it. You don't have to speak on it. We can move forward. I don't care. I need to get that out. That's who I am. I'm never going to shy away from that.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And I think the craziest part about it all is that I'm sure this isn't the first time there's been, someone that performs at halftime that you don't like. Like you brought up Katy Perry, but like in general, like been watching Super Bowls, you probably watch Super Bowls your entire life. If there is somebody up there that's not watching, like you don't go to, somewhere else to try and find a halftime show, or there's never an alternative option there. So I think the other part of it as well is that while you could be upset or you can ask questions about, why did they have this guy perform or, this or that, the reality is that was the most viewed halftime show in the history of the Super Bowl. And like, if that's the case, then that means people were tuning in to watch him perform because the game wasn't that exciting. It was 12-0 at halftime. They weren't locking in to see what was Drake May about to do coming out the half. They joined in to see what Bad Bunny was doing. And admittedly so, by no means am I a Bad Bunny fan. I literally only knew one song and he didn't perform the song that I knew. But as a whole, though, the performance, the visuals were great. Like I have no idea what was being said in the songs. Like the vibes were good and the visuals were immaculate. So I was entertained. At the end of the day, it was the halftime show. I was there to watch a football game anyway. It was on. It was cool. We went through with it and we got back to the game. So I think this is just a bunch of people making a much to do about nothing and just finding a way to try and push your agenda one way or another there. But I thought Bad Bunny didn't do anything, out of line. Like there could have been a demonstration if that's the route that he wanted to go. There could have been, things said, and all it was, like you said, was inclusion, more love than hate, and just performing his music and him performing his music. That was it.
By the way, I don't understand Spanish, so I didn't I just watched it. I thought by the way, the Bushes being people, that was awesome. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
I did watching it live because Audie actually pointed out because like we saw them like moving when they were all getting set up. We're like, those are people. But yeah, the bushes falling through the ceiling into an actual building. Like there was a lot of production that went into that. You had an actual wedding happen during it. Like there was a lot of incredible stuff that happened, regardless of how you feel about his actual music.
All right, well, that'll be that, and we're gonna end there. We're gonna give our way too early predictions for next year. I have a Super Bowl prediction for next year.
Okay.
I also have like a bold prediction that like that long shot prediction, something I could see happening.
Okay.
Where are you at?
I have my Super Bowl prediction. I don't necessarily have like a crazy long shot, but I definitely got some teams I would say to look out for.
Okay.
Close.
Let's start with your Super Bowl prediction. Way too early Super Bowl prediction for next year.
All right, so in the NFC, I'm doing it. I'm going there. The Chicago Bears will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And on the AFC side, forget what everyone's talking about right now with the injuries, the age, the lack of cap space. The Kansas City Chiefs will rebound and they will be back in the Super Bowl next season.
Nope. Not happening. Bears, I could see.
I'm telling you right now. Chiefs, Bears.
All right. Chiefs, Bears, February 11th, 2026. You heard it here first.
Yep.
I got one for you.
Okay.
I think John Harbaugh is an overrated coach.
Okay.
Give me the Baltimore Ravens with the revamped defense. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They go out and get themselves another wide receiver. And I have the Baltimore Ravens. Revamped defense, little Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton. A bunch of guys, some injuries coming back. Versus the Swan Song. One last ride. The Los Angeles Rams play a home Super Bowl. Stafford, McVay, Stafford's last ride, maybe Devontae Adams' last ride. And it's a storybook Super Bowl. Rams, Ravens.
Okay.
Now for my long shot, who do you have? Do you have a long shot? Any bold predictions? Anything you could see happen? Like a team like the Patriots who finished like, I don't want to say they don't have to finish last, but a team that might not necessarily made the playoffs or might be 50 or 1 odds or higher to go to Super Bowl.
I'm not going to say make the playoffs, but I'm not going to say win the Super Bowl, but I think a team that is going to be a complete 180 from what they were this past season is a team that's built very similar to what the Patriots were. That's Tennessee Titans. I'm buying a lot of stock in what they have there. Same situation where you have Cam Ward, how the Patriots had Drake May. You bring in a new coach with new culture, and you bring in a guy who Brian Dable has, worked with every single quarterback that he's had and made them better than how they were when, before he got there. So I think with the Titans as well, having a ton of money to use in cap space, they are a team that can absolutely flip this thing upside down next season. Again, I don't see them necessarily going to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl or anything like that, but I absolutely think they're going to be a team that's in the playoffs next season.
I don't want to be silly when I say this. I think these are both realistic teams. One team actually made the playoffs. The other team didn't make the playoffs, but was predicted to. I guess it would be a long shot because nobody's talking about it. But I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Jacksonville finally has some serious money to spend this offseason, and they revamped that defense. I think Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen take another step forward. I like Jacksonville. I think they're going to be a very good football team this year. Give me Jacksonville versus Detroit for my long shot Super Bowl.
I like Detroit too. Detroit is a really good, in my opinion, I think they're in a good spot because now you know what they were missing. It was clear as day that the interior of their offensive line did not hold up to what the expectation ultimately was. And then on the defensive side, they just had a lot of injuries. Like at some point there was a straw that broke the camel's back there, and they just really couldn't rebound from all the injuries. So you get some depth on the defensive side of the ball, you get all your guys back, and you shore up that interior. The Lions absolutely can be there. I definitely see that. And the Jags with a ton of cap space. I can see that as well. So that I can see both of those.
I do have something fun planned for you because I know we don't have trivia and it is 8 o'clock. So I have I'm going to play a game where you're going to eliminate every player. And you're going to do it yourself.
Okay.
Now, the chat is going to count on you to win because if you win this game, I will be sending $50 cash to one random listener, but only if you win.
Oh, brother. Okay.
And we will $50 cash to one random listener. Is that fair?
Okay.
But only if you win. Now I'm kind of stalling because I have to find it. I got it right here. It's not that bad. Not that bad. I think it's actually gettable.
Okay.
But it's definitely not easy. Okay.
All right. Let's see what we got.
$50 cash. Hang on one second.
Philly.
What?
That's my first answer. Philly.
No, it's one of those eliminate.
John Suggs. While Gene, while you're figuring that out, I will address this comment right here. If Colts stay healthy, could surprise people. Okay, sure. Giants make a 180? Absolutely not. I'll say this right now. I think there's an opportunity for the Giants to finish last in that division next season. I think JD5 coming back. Washington still has cap space to move around there. I think there's a big opportunity for Washington to build off of going to the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. And I'm not going to say John Harbaugh is overrated like you did earlier, Gene, but I think the Giants' entire coaching staff is questionable at best. Bringing in Nagy, bringing in Roman, bringing in everything that they had, Brian Callahan, like they just got the I lost my job crew and just threw them on staff there with New York.
You're not wrong. All right. Which of these players who has played the most games since 2020? So I need you to write this down, okay? Does that go with you?
Yeah.
So the question is, who has played the most games since 2020? Okay.
Type it here. Yeah, let me get my notes here. What's up?
All right. Demarcus Robinson, Mac Hollins, CeeDee Lamb.
Wait, you're going a little quick there.
Right,
Mac Hollins.
And this is right.
CeeDee Lamb.
Actually, postseason's included. Sorry.
Okay.
Demarcus Robinson, Mac Hollins, CeeDee Lamb,
Yep.
Van Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Darius Slayton, Stephon Diggs, Darnell Mooney, Devin Duvernay,
Devin Duvernay,
and Adam Thielen. The only thing you have to do is you have to eliminate a player that's not played and see how many you can get to. If you complete it, someone in the chat's winning $50.
All right. So I'm going to eliminate people who I feel like shouldn't be on this list because Diggs missed out on a ton of work with his torn ACL. So he'll be the first one that I eliminate. I'll eliminate Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs is safe.
All right. Devontae Adams is another one who was missing games with the Raiders. He missed games this past season with the Rams. With the Jets, he missed a few games there towards the end. I'll go with Devontae Adams as well.
Devontae Adams is safe.
Okay. All right, get him out. Get them out. All right.
You want to tell you they played too?
And you and tell them.
Diggs played 91, Devontae Adams 92.
Okay. Are those high on the list?
5 and 7.
Oh, okay. So I'm of the right mindset here. Um, who else had a crazy? Anybody have any crazy injuries? Um, see, Adam Thielen is one that I'm kind of thinking about here. I'm gonna go with see CD missed a lot too. I'll go with CD Lamb. Let's get CD off the board.
You're safe, but be careful. Number 2, CD Lamb, 95.
Okay. All right. Darnell Mooney is another one who I feel like has some injury history and always misses a couple games in the season. I'll take Darnell Mooney.
You're safe. He's number 8 with 91. Tied with Diggs.
All right. We're rolling here.
You are rolling. You're rolling, bro.
Let's see. Moving on here. Who else has gotten hurt? Van Jefferson plays a ton, I feel like. Devin Duvernay also plays on special teams, so he plays every game. I am going to go with Darius Slayton.
You are safe. He's number 6 with 92 games.
Okay. Get him off the board here. All right. Now we got 5 left.
You have number 1, number 2, number 4, number 10, and number 9.
All right. I'll take him off the board. For whatever reason, he's just standing out to me. Demarcus Robinson.
You're eliminated. You hit the bomb. Demarcus Robinson has played 97 games. He is number 1.
Wow.
Nice shot, though. The order exactly was, hold on. The order exactly was, I actually read it in order accidentally, but I didn't want to. I read it in order. Literally in order, like an idiot. But
I should have went. I would have eventually guessed Robinson. I thought the top guy was actually going to be Van Jefferson.
He was 4th. I mean, in order. You have the order right there.
Yeah.
Good effort. I will do another one of these next week for a chance for someone in the chat to win $50. Why not? Let's have some fun. Anything else NFL you want to touch on before we move on to the National Basketball Association?
I think the only other, I guess, question mark that I have here is, do you have any crazy takes you want to just like let fly with the NFL before we move on here? Like, it's February, might sound crazy. Like, I know a couple years ago, one of them was, you said Joe Burrow. This is going to be like Joe Burrow's last season playing football. I know another one was Bill Belichick's like last season in the NFL. Like, we've had some stuff kind of fly out there.
I don't want to get into Eagles. See, we talked about that before. But would it be a crazy take for me to say the Philadelphia Eagles don't make the playoffs?
That would be a hot one.
I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles make the playoffs. I think they're falling apart at the seams. Truly believe it. Oh, by the way, been right about everything Philadelphia Eagles related this year. I do not like Harbaugh. I do not like his staff. I do not think
staff sucks.
I hate it. I'm not on board. I think Dallas ends up winning the NFC East. I hate saying that. Do not be surprised if Washington has a huge bounce back year. I think Philadelphia falls apart. Truly believe it. I heard the Micah Parsons AJ Brown interview. I feel that Micah Parsons is an idiot. So, like, most of the times when you listen to him, like, you hear him say something that's just outlandishly dumb. I'll end it there. I don't want to get too far into that. I want to stay on topic. Outlandish takes. That wouldn't be outlandish. She finished 3rd, so I won't do that.
Will Anderson for DPOY? Is that where you're going?
No, I think Will Anderson's. I said this already. I think Will Anderson will be a top 5 defensive player of all time. I think he's just different. If you're going to buy stock in a player in the NFL, buy stock in Will Anderson Jr. It will do nothing but rise and pay good dividends. It's not crypto. Shots fired.
What was your third one though? What was you said he finished third, so it's not.
I think there's a really good chance Trevor Lawrence can win MVP next year.
See it? Definitely can see it. I think the only real one that I have is that, and it's not. I feel like it's about to be. I'm about to get put in a box here, but I don't see the New England Patriots making the playoffs next season.
I mean, that's not crazy. The Buffalo Bills can win the division, and then getting a wild card in the AFC is never easy. So, and they're also going to play a much tougher schedule this year than they played last year. I don't think that's nuts to say. Like, I don't think as a Patriot fan listening to that, you should be like, oh, no, he's a hater. I don't think that's crazy to say.
Yeah. So that's the one thing that I've kind of noticed and kind of felt conviction with. Just, I feel very similar to, and they didn't necessarily lose the pieces, but I feel very similar to how we both felt about the Detroit Lions last year about this New England Patriots team. They won't be bad. I just don't know if they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Houston's going to be really good next year, too. I think Houston and Jacksonville could be two of the top teams in the AFC. I'm fully bought into Miko Ryans. I'm fully bought into that defense. I just need that offense. And by the way, I do want to say this. Your boy CJ Stroud's got to wake the hell up because ever since Bobby Slowick's left, he's been nothing but spiral.
Absolutely.
Quinn Ewers, starting quarterback, Miami Dolphins, they win 8 games. That's my there you go. There's my bold take. Quinn Ewers, starting quarterback, Miami Dolphins, they win 8 games. I think they'd sign up for that too, for sure, head coach. Chris Shula. Not Chris Shula. I wish they would have hired Chris Shula.
Yeah.
Who'd they hire? Who'd Miami hire again?
Halfley.
Oh, yeah. Defense will be good, and they upgraded Bobby Slowick, the offense coordinator.
Yeah, that's it, NFL for me. I mean, I was just curious if we had anything hot to just let it fly.
I have an NBA rant that I need to get out.
Oh man, let's do it.
Control, how much basketball have you watched this year?
A lot.
I've heard of tanking in March. I've heard of tanking in April. I've heard of some teams tanking after the All-Star break. Never in the history of ever. Now, I've heard of teams tanking for a season. Like the Philadelphia 76ers. Never in the history of basketball have I seen so many teams purposely trying to lose basketball games and make it so evident. Yep. Example 1, Sacramento Kings. They're in a 2-point game with the Los Angeles Clippers. With 3 minutes and 56 seconds to go in the third quarter, they removed Domantas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine, their best 3 players. They did not return to the basketball game. They did not return to the basketball game. Oh, let's go a step further. The other night, the Utah Jazz are in Miami, are in Orlando. They're up 10 points. Jaren Jackson's got 28 points through 3 quarters. Lauri Markkanen's playing great. Did not return to the basketball game the fourth quarter. Lost the game.
Did you see their coaches tonight? Did you see their coaches' press conference afterwards?
Yes. The Indiana Pacers tonight. They rest everybody versus the Brooklyn Nets. Every single player that started last night versus the Knicks is given a night off tonight. Every player. I am not understanding how the NBA can allow this level of tanking. The last one I'll give you, and this one pisses me off. The Washington Wizards trade for Trae Young and Anthony Davis. And guess what? they have not used anything. They have not done anything. They have basically sat there and been in this situation to where they're just going to sit them the rest of the year. They're sitting Trae Young. They're sitting Anthony Davis. They are purposely losing basketball games. Welcome, Uncle Shower. I'm so sick of the NBA allowing this level of bullshit and not punishing teams for it.
The part that I don't understand is that you literally have teams tanking, and they tank year after year after year. Like, I look at the Utah Jazz, it feels like they've been tanking for the last 5 years, and they don't have like a top pick to ultimately show for it. Like, I get it, they got Ace Bailey there because he kind of fell to him at 5 there, but that is a team that is the epitome of tanking doesn't necessarily always work there for you. And I get it. This upcoming draft class is absolutely loaded. There's 5 to 6 guys in this upcoming class that absolutely can change your organization. Like, I fully understand that. But I'm with you, Gene. There needs to be something put in place here that gives these teams less of an incentive to tank. And I don't know if you saw it, but Richard Jefferson had an excellent idea about what they should do. Once teams are ultimately mathematically eliminated, their wins should count as like additional, like a point system, essentially. Like, all right, every win that you get after being mathematically eliminated gives you like a little bit of a boost. So like everybody, let's say, start off at, that's in that top, 5 category or whatever, you get like 15%. You saw all start off at 15%. Well, if you win 6 out of your next 10 games, well, now you have like an 18% chance, as opposed to you losing 8 out of your last 10, and now you're still sitting at like 15% or maybe even a little bit less than that. I think that is an excellent idea. You got to go hear it from his mouth there. But I think that's an excellent idea, because you have to find a way to incentivize these teams not to intentionally tank. Because like you said, it's crazy when you have Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson both playing absolutely incredible, and you sit them for the entire fourth quarter, and then they asked the head coach in the press conference after the game, they said, did you ever think about putting those guys back in the game? And his answer was simply no. Like, I never thought about it. Like, that is insane.
Shally, we're talking about the NBA tanking. I'm not sure how much you heard about it from the beginning or not, but the Washington Wizards sitting Trae Young and Anthony Davis the rest of the year when Trae Young's not even injured. The Utah Jazz sitting their best 2 players in the fourth quarter when they're up 10 intentionally to lose a game to Orlando. And the Sacramento Kings sitting their best 3 players in the fourth quarter, including Russell Westbrook. They sat him too in the fourth quarter in a game in which they were winning by 2 versus the Clippers. This is intentional tanking. This isn't sitting guys out. This is, oh, shit, we're winning? Hold on. You sit the hell over there. We're going to play the backups now.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, I feel like the Sixers almost kind of started this trend, but it's squarely in the NBA for letting it get to this point to where, to what you guys both just went over. It's like an epidemic now. It's just, and you're not even having to lie about it or tell guys to be like, oh, just say like your knee hurts a little bit. They're just like, no, like we're just not going to play people. It's too easy. And I'll tell you the other part of it. I didn't see Richard Jefferson's point of view, so I'm curious to go listen to that. But I was listening to the other guys talk about it today nationally, and they brought up a good point as well. There's too much money. There's no reason for all these teams to go do all this stuff. Between all of the rights, the TV rights, these owners are making money hand over fist, regardless of what their record is. I think that's part of it, and I think that has to come into it as well. If you want to tank, okay, like Cottrell was saying, you get we could make wins worth more. Well, if you're going to lose on purpose and sit a Trae Young who's healthy, or sit your 3 best players in the fourth quarter when you're winning, with no intentions of putting back in the game, and you lose, you should lose part of your portion of all the TV rights and all that stuff. Penalize. The one thing you'll do to get owners' attention is to penalize them financially. You start taking money out of their pockets, they'll start listening and stuff will start changing. I just think it's been going. It's just this stuff's been going the wrong way. Between what the Sixers did, but the only thing I'll say about the Sixers is we joke about it now, but like there was like everybody knew they were doing it, but it was everybody knew what the plan was.
Yeah, but they were trying all game. They put a terrible roster together.
That's what I'm saying.
With friggin' Sacramento sitting their best 3 players in the fourth quarter after winning the game.
Agreed, and that's what I was going to get to. It's still different than what's going on now, and it's the NBA's fault for letting it happen. I have to be honest. Like they could step in at any point and be like, this we're just not letting you guys do this anymore. If guys are healthy, they need to play. I feel like load management plays into this a little bit. We started like just sneakily, slowly moving down this road towards all this. And you're even seeing in college now. Like there was a big thing. There was a big thing today with Kansas about
Darren
Peterson. That they paid him all this money to go there, and he's missed 11 games. That he's just like, man.
That's all their big ones too.
Yeah. So it's like, they beat Arizona the other night. He didn't even play. So it's like I think if you it's going to become a big portion of a really big conversation, I think, in the offseason, some of which we've had before on the show, about load management and season ticket holders and blah, blah, blah. And now you're going to add this into it.
You talked about money, Shao. You talked about money. What about the money people are gambling, the millions of dollars people are gambling on prop bets? Do you imagine if a guy had in the fourth quarter and he just doesn't play?
Yeah.
I need him to get one more rebound. He's their best player. He's leaving with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. He'll come back.
And that to me that's the team's just saying, we don't care. But at the same time, it's really not that much different than, somebody kind of throwing a game. Like you can't have all these people. And again, they get a portion of all that money. Don't fool yourselves. Like that's for FanDuel and DraftKings and all them. They have licensings and everything else. There's a portion of that gets kicked back into the leagues every year. So to Gene's point, it all factors in. It all matters at the end. And it's a lot of money. You're talking about billions of dollars. They're going to have to sit down and, and come up with something. Because it's, again, when you're making it this noticeable and just blatant and nobody cares, then you're just, you're just disrespecting the fans and everybody else at that point.
So here's my biggest question, though. We don't have the problem in the NFL. Like, obviously, you get teams to start tanking, towards the end of the year, whatever the case may be. But it feels like we see year in and year out the week 17, week 18 games where it's like, oh, all this team needs to do is lose, and they're going to be guaranteed the number 2 pick, or they're going to be guaranteed the number 1 overall pick, and then they go out and win the football game. Why isn't it a problem in the NFL? And how can you – is there a way to bring that to the NBA?
You can't play football half-assed. You can't. You'll get hurt.
What'd you say?
You cannot play football half-assed.
So you're right,
True.
but you're also talking about like sitting guys out. Like, let's say
this year, the Raiders did that. They sent Max Crosby home. They did that this year. Giants did that. They sat everybody for a week.
I get it.
The Cowboys did that. They sat everybody for the second half of their last game.
But that's the thing, though. The Giants were still winning football games. So they didn't sit Jackson Dart. Like, they could have sat Jackson Dart and said, hey, we're going to go get the number 1 overall pick, and we're just going to, have that be that. But that's not ultimately what happened. Like, I think back to a couple years ago when, the Texans were in line to get the number 1 overall pick when they ultimately took C.J. Stroud and Lovie Smith went out there and won that last game. Or I think about when the Patriots were in line to get the number 1 overall pick, then they won a football game and they ended with Drake May at the 3rd overall pick. Like, we see it all the time. Even when teams are trying to lose, that they still sometimes go out and win these football games and lower their draft ranking.
I think part of it is I think part of it is definitely what Gene said too. You can't go on a football field and play not to get injured because you'll get hurt. It's either going to go out there and play or don't play. I think the NFL is unique in that until you really get down to pretty much the last month of the season, you have so many teams that are still in it that you don't even have to worry about it. Like, they're still mathematically in it. And every game in the NFL matters so much because they play so few games. That's part of the problem. Not part of the problem. It's a good thing for the NFL. Reverse that, go to the NBA where they play so many games. You have half of each conference making the playoffs every year. They don't worry about it as much as, say, football, where, getting the bye is looked upon as, the saving grace. And especially because of how physical football is, that week of rest matters to your guys. NBA is like, if we're the 6 seed, we're the 3 seed, like whatever, we'll just get in and play, and it's not as big as a deal. And football, I think honestly, dude, as much as you still see it in the NFL, I think NFL players care more. I just do. I think they have more pride and they'd rather go out and win than lose. Like, if you're gonna go out in the field, play offense, defense, whatever, play 60, 70 plays and get your ass kicked, get bruised, put your body through all that, why would you want to go out there to lose? I just think they care more as a whole overall. So NBA players have just shown over the last decade they want their money. They're all friends, and it's kind of whatever. I think the NFL is very unique in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at some of these things. And by the way, I want to address this comment. I absolutely this pissed me off live reading it. You're not wrong. They don't have the best roster. When you say they didn't just start tanking, they aren't a good roster. They absolutely threw a basketball game the other night. And that's what I need you to understand. I don't care if they have a good roster or a bad roster. They threw a basketball game. They throw people out of basketball or baseball forever for doing what these teams are doing. They threw a basketball game the other night. They were winning by 2. They took their 3 best players out of the game and never brought them back in the 3rd quarter. Why? That's not tanking? Tell me that's not tanking. What the Jazz did versus the Magic the other night should be criminally investigated. They were up 10. Jared Jackson was killing it. Laurie Markkinen was killing it. They absolutely 100% should have won that basketball game. And they took their 2 best players out of the game, didn't bring them back. That is throwing the game. And then, what we're going to do next? We're going to talk about the All-Star game. We're going to talk about the 3-point contest, the dunk contest. There's 4 guys who, one of them I know who they are. The other 3, I don't even know who the hell they are. And then we're going to talk about the NBA All-Star game and how do we fix it? It's not competitive. It's a soft-ass league. By the way, I feel like this is the avenue, and I don't really give a shit. Did you guys see the Nick Wright comment about how to fix the All-Star game?
Yeah, I did. Hilarious.
That's hilarious. I think they would absolutely play if it was that. If you don't know did you see it, Joe?
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, he made a comment saying, just make it whites versus blacks. I guarantee it's right. And you got Luka, you got all the Eastern Europeans. You got Luka, Jokic. You're gonna get Cooper Flag, Khan Kneepel. Look, Peyton Pritchard's probably not making many All-Star games, but he make that one.
Sengun. Franz Wagner, you got plenty.
Top 10 would be fine. But
that's all you need in an All-Star game.
No, listen, I agree because to Nick Wright's point, if you're on the other side, you don't want to be the guys that lost to the white boys. So it's going to matter at that point. Oh, you on that All-Star team and lost to the white guys? Nope, don't want to be that
guy. Listen, I'm going to be honest. Athleticism, we're probably not going to do very well, Shao. But
fundamentals, team.
Unbelievable passers, great shooters. We're going to
go fundamentals that we can shoot.
Fundamentals.
It's an all-star game, so it's not like you need much defense. Although I do think that one might get a little tense towards the end.
You guys have any problem with Dame Lillard participating in the 3-point contest?
Yes, but not because it's Damian Lillard. My issue with it is that I just saw an interview with Trey Murphy, and Trey Murphy said that he absolutely would have done it if he was, ultimately asked there for it. And Trey Murphy has been having an incredible season, one of the best shooters in the league this season. So for him to be healthy and not even get the invite, like I think it would be one thing ultimately if it was like, all right, nobody wanted to do the 3-point contest and we just wanted to fill a spot, but that wasn't the case this year, and so that's my issue with it.
See, but my part, I don't disagree with you, but part of it is like I look at like how it used to be, and it's like Trey Murphy shouldn't wait to be invited. Trey Murphy should be out there and be like, I want to do it. And like then they'll put him in. Like Michael Jordan had to get invited to do the slam dunk contest back in the day. Spud Webb didn't. Like those guys were like, we're doing it. And the NBA was like, all right, cool. Like do whatever you want to do. Like go out there and like politic for yourself. If you really want to do it that bad, talk about it. Talk about it post game all the time.
I don't know if Trey Murphy has that pull.
What?
I don't know if Trey Murphy has that pull in New Orleans.
He says it enough though to where like, all right, to your point though, everybody looks at it like, all right, this kid actually wants to do it. He's having a good season. Like Dame Lillard's on the plane.
They put Trey Murphy in a 3-point contest. He finishes top 3.
Yeah,
he's a sniper, kick and shoot.
And if you're an NBA fan, you know who he is. So it's like that's what I mean. You got to politic for yourself sometimes. You got to speak up.
Now here are the dunk contest participants. I love to read those to you.
It's the 3 of us and somebody else.
We have Jace Richardson of the Orlando Magic, Kashad Johnson of the Miami. Guys, I know Jace Richardson is. I know who Carter Bryant is. Who the hell is Kashad Johnson?
Don't know.
Who is he?
Jackson Hayes.
I know Jackson Hayes was the one I knew. But like, who the hell is Kashad Johnson? Do you know who that is, Kashad?
No.
I have no idea who the guy is. Jace Richardson.
He's not a G League guy, is he?
I don't know.
No, he's averaging 3 for the Miami Heat.
Whoa!
We're not even going to have the annual conversation, but it's a sin. It's a sin what this has turned into.
Dunk contest, baby.
Tune
in to watch Jace Richardson versus Carter Bryant. Just get the N1 guys out there to do dunk contests. Let it be fun.
I'd rather them lower the rims to like 8 feet and bring back like all the other guys that are old as shit.
It's so bad.
It would be more entertaining than this. And that's nothing against anybody, but
I don't even know what Jace Richardson looks like.
Find out Saturday.
Kashad Johnson. Who is that?
Jace Richardson has an interesting. If he was the like 4th guy, like it could at least be interesting because his dad won the dunk contest in the past.
Yeah.
So like the Jason Richardson tie-in, like I can at least understand that. But you're throwing him out there and he's arguably the 2nd most recognizable name out there. Like he's supposed to be the 4th guy. He's supposed to be like, oh yeah, they threw the rookie in. Like his dad won the dunk contest back in the day, like little feel-good story or whatever the case may be. But that's not what this is. It was like, all right, Jace, we're throwing you in here. You're going to be one of the staples.
He's like the marquee name. That's not a good thing.
We got to put you. We got to put you on all the all the banners to advertise this
center for the Los Angeles Lakers. The marquee name in
Who?
Jackson Hayes.
Yeah, it's.
I will say, Jackson Hayes, he at least made himself look all right. He had a between the legs in-game dunk, so I am curious about what he can do. Name's not there, but I'm curious. You go between the legs in-game, I can respect that.
The 3-point contest is going to be incredible. Incredible. Did you guys see the participant shot? You know the 3-point contest.
I did not see the 3-point contest. I barely saw the dunk stuff today.
Loaded.
It's great. The 3-point contest is great. So you got Norman Powell, who's probably the worst in there. Bobby Portis Jr., who leads the NBA in 3-point percentage.
He's going to do terrible in contest.
What?
Agreed.
I said he's going to do terrible in
I
conference.
agree.
I feel like
understand
Bobby
why
Portis
you
will
think-
never finish in the 5 rank.
I hear it. Then you got Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, Con Kneepel, Devin Booker, and Damian Lillard, who's not played basketball this year. That 3-point contest is going to be snipers on snipers.
Yeah. Everybody there's a recognizable name. You have star power. And that's why it'll be exciting.
Con wins it.
It'll be complete opposite of the dunk contest.
I think Con wins it.
Taking D Book.
Really? Thought you would take your hero.
Well,
Nah.
LeBron's not doing this either.
Oh, Dame Lillard. That's his other hero.
Yeah, man, Dame would be tough. I mean, it's probably all he's doing is probably walking around the gym shooting those. So who knows?
I don't think I've seen. Yeah, you're right. I don't think I've seen Con Kneepel miss an open 3 in the NBA.
It's gonna be interesting how this all plays out because contest shooting is so different than obviously just spotting up. I know obviously you guys know that, but that'll be, I think, the interesting part here because you have to think about jumpers that translate well to Con has a great jumper, so like that it'll translate well to the contest, like Devin Booker as well. But like I look at Donovan Mitchell, for example, he gets so much height on his jumpers. Like by the time he's gonna have dead legs by the end of his rounds there. Tyrese Maxey is another one. He gets a ton of air on his jumper. So like I'm gonna be curious to see how he performs.
Very fast.
He is fast.
I'll bet you Tyrese Maxey finishes the 25 balls.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah. He'll be the opposite because, like I said, Portis. I'd be shocked if Portis gets through all 5 racks.
He's gonna be sucking wind by the time he's at rack 4.
Well, but like he usually just takes spot like open jumpers. Now all of a sudden, like the clock goes, you got pick up all shoot, like, and again, he's not a small dude either. So it's like I just don't see him getting through all 5 racks. And if he does, he's gonna be rushed.
I'll tell you what I think would be better if they got rid of the racks and they brought in a point guard to just passing the ball wide. You know what I mean? Like you have a point guard, back-to-back point guards passing the ball.
I think they should do a different round.
You just have like a guy at every station with a basket of 5 balls and they just throw it. I mean, I don't think I would be opposed to that. It's more of an in-rhythm shot at that point.
Yeah, I love it. Anything else you guys want to talk about as far as Bill, you do sound clearer than ever. I agree. Anything else that you guys want to talk about All-Star Weekend?
Do you guys think, and I know we're tale as old as time with this show, any shot the new format changes how anything goes with the All-Star Weekend?
Nope. Not the first one. The second one, maybe. I say this way. If the world goes out and smacks the United States and destroys them, I think a pride piece will come in next year.
It's a round robin though this year because they got 3 teams. So I'm thinking, you don't think any shot if the world kind of goes out and puts it on them the first round robin that you don't think you see a little bit of fire in the second game?
No. I think that a lot of people are checked out. Team rosters are set. Do you have the rosters?
I can get them for sure.
U.S. Stars, U.S. Stripes versus Jesus Christ. We have 2 U.S. teams versus.
Yep. So you got one team.
How does the world not win this by 100?
You got Scotty Barnes, Kate Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Johnson, Devin Booker, Jalen Duren, Chet Holmgren, and Tyrese Maxey.
They're going to try. That team's going to try. Team USA Blue is not going to try at all.
Yep. So the Stripes team, you got Jaylen Brown, Brandon Ingram, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, Jalen Brunson, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and Donovan Mitchell.
Hey, those who's ever going to play.
That team is not going to try. If you want to put your money against the team, go against that team. Like, I don't know how that team wins. That team's by far the team that's not going to win. Like, I could see the U.S., like, with the Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Cade, Jalen Duren, Anthony Edwards, Chet, Jalen Johnson, and Tyrese Maxey winning. because and Steph's injured. He's not playing. Neither is SGA. But I could see that team competing with the world. But there's zero chance that the middle team, one with Durant, LeBron, like the old timers.
Why? And then you got Team World with Giannis, who I doubt plays. Luka, who's I think the world team is going to be interesting because a lot of these guys are, battling injuries right now.
SGA's hurt, Luka's hurt.
Giannis is hurt. So like those are three. Obviously, you can still get around it. You still have Sengun, you got Kat, you got Denny Avia, you got Jamal Murray, Pascal Siakam, and then you got Wemby as well.
Yeah, and Jokic. Jokic, Wemby, Giannis. Can you imagine going against that front court?
Ridiculous. What do you do?
I just get sad. Until all the guys all the big guys, the marquee guys, dedicate themselves to playing and actually giving a shit, it's not going to get better. And you'll just be like, it's going to be no different than the NHL. They keep changing the format, and the NHL at least figured out, okay,
3-on-3 format was kind of fire.
Correct. They've at least figured out, you know what? If we're just kind of, I don't want to say upfront with it, but just realize, we can't have these guys checking in an all-star game and everything. We're going to make it entertaining. So that's what we're going to do. Like, how can we get it like the most high scoring without, making a mockery of it? And that's what they did.
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel like a comparison is like this, like, and again, this isn't like talking down anybody, but if you go back and watch the 90 All-Stars game, like Bulls and the Pistons and the Celtics all hated each other. But those guys got in the locker room and were like, we are not losing to Magic Johnson and all the teams in the West. Like, they went out there, balls to the wall, and played. It'd be like if you had an all-star game where in the NFL, it was like all the divisions versus each other. Like, if you took Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore and put them in a real game, and even though they're all heated rivals, but they're like, you know what, we're going to go out and play the AFC East with Tom Brady and all them, they'd be like, we're not losing this fucking game to Tom Brady. And like, that's what old all-star games used to be like. And that's if anybody wants an all-star game to be good, they need to recapture that type of competitiveness somehow.
100%. I tuned in to see Kobe LeBron.
I will say, though, I think that once you get these old guys out, once LeBron's gone, once Durant's gone, and Steph's not a part of the problem, but once Steph's gone and you truly have like the new age guys, like I do think that's when you have the possibility to get a shift.
Did you say once LeBron leaves, the All-Star game might be better?
Well, I said all of the old guys, but yeah, I mean, I know, so that's what you're hung up on. I know, I get it.
Isn't that what I said for 5 years, that LeBron's ruined the NBA?
I mean, yeah, you say that as an individual. I say that as a whole. Like you keep having these 35. Like the NBA is so caught up on the old guys still as the stars of the league, and I'm saying that once you let go of that, like Kawhi is up there in age. Like we know he's. Why do we just say Team Silver wasn't going to be a team that tries hard? Because there are a bunch of the old guys who, exactly, a bunch of the old guys.
Who's the oldest of them?
LeBron is the oldest of them.
The leader of the group.
I guess these men follow LeBron.
I believe they do. First of all, you say that like it's like a badge of honor. I wouldn't follow him into a burning building because that's what he's created.
Well, it sounds like that's exactly what they did. So it sounds like that's what you believe they did.
There's no real option to go the other way, though.
Sure, there is. You don't want to play hard, LeBron? That's cool. I'm
can't come out and publicly say, I don't care. LeBron's dogging it. We're gonna go out and play. Screw LeBron. If you don't want to play hard, don't show up. You can't.
I'm not saying you say that, but you absolutely can go out there and play hard if you want to.
I tell you right now, if I was coach of the All-Star game, as soon as I see LeBron dogging it, I'd bench his ass. I'd set him down.
And he'd be happy with it, probably.
I'm so annoyed with the All-Star game has become. Can we move forward? I have one more NBA topic.
What you got?
So halfway through the season, this is like more than a halfway point. All-Star break is normally kind of your mid-season. Okay. I truly believe that styles are going to make fights in the postseason. And when you look at the NBA right now, I'm shocked the Houston Rockets didn't go out and get a point guard. Shocked beyond belief they didn't go out and get a point guard. They're a flawed roster.
Yep.
I watched, granted, the Lakers once again tanked a basketball game last night. They played no one. Their entire starting lineup. Like, look, LeBron didn't play. Okay, fine. He's 41. I get it. Austin Reeves didn't play. Okay, he's coming off an injury. Fine. Luka didn't play. Okay, he's got a hamstring injury. Marcus Smart, perfectly healthy, didn't play. DeAndre Ayton didn't play. They basically played Bronny James and a G League affiliate team versus the San Antonio Spurs last night. And they were like 84-55 at halftime. It was embarrassing. But the Oklahoma City Thunder have the best team in basketball unless they run into the San Antonio Spurs in the postseason. San Antonio is going to beat them in the postseason. Wemby is a freak. He's unbelievable. I cannot wait. I hope it happens. I'm praying for it. I'm begging for it. I'll get on my knees and ask for it. I need a Spurs Thunder 7-game series with those teams healthy because that Spurs team is deep and they're just as deep as the Thunder. Yes, just as deep. Want to play that game?
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but
cool. Let's play that game. I've been waiting for this. Let's play that game. We'll go superstar first. You ready?
All right.
SGA Wemby. Cool, right?
Okay.
Next. You give me a Thunder player, I'll give you an equal or better Spurs player.
All right. So I'm assuming we got to go J-Dub here.
Stefan Castle.
I mean, that's advantage Thunder, but okay.
No, but we're talking about depth. So let's keep going down the list. And you watch.
I mean, you say a name. You say a name. I mean, yeah. Chet Holmgren.
De'Aaron Fox.
All right. So, Hartenstein.
Okay, Dylan Harper.
I don't know what we're doing here.
Keep going. You're going to see how deep this Spurs team is. Julian Champagny, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Kendall Johnson.
You're naming players on the roster, but like you're naming players on the roster. Like I get it.
Every one of those players has played good basketball this year, bro. Every one of them.
How many of those guys are better than Alex Caruso?
Almost Dylan Harper or Alex Caruso in a playoff series. Who you taking?
In a playoff series, I'm taking Caruso, but as a whole, Dylan Harper is better.
I'll take Dylan Harper.
But my
that's the backup point guard.
My ultimate point is like, and I didn't even get to like Lou Dort. You have
Julian Champagny.
Who like if we're talking, who would you rather have? The Thunder have probably 8 of the 10 guys when you compare them across the board.
I completely disagree with you. Harrison Barnes is their 8th guy, bro. Their 8th guy. They are so deep. It is unbelievable.
Harrison Barnes is
yeah.
Harrison Barnes is what? You guys watch basketball this year?
I said he's old.
He's 33.
Not saying he's not a good player, but like I would say, trying to think of everybody who's on
stop, dude. Pay attention. The guy's averaging 10 points a game as their 8th player.
Oh my God, 10 points a game. Let's build him a statue outside of
the whole roster is averaging 10 points a game.
Look at what OKC is doing. It's the same exact thing, and we saw them do it on the biggest stage. My ultimate point,
the same exact thing. I agree with you.
My ultimate point is that we've seen what OKC can do without. They're the number 1 team in basketball, and they didn't have J-Dub for 25 games to start the season. Like that's my ultimate point. Like if you had the San Antonio Spurs, if you had the Spurs without De'Aaron Fox 25 games, they're not going to be in the position that they're at right now. This Thunder team is so incredibly deep. Like they have lottery picks that are like Nikola Topic has been hurt and hasn't played a game for them. A first round pick. Like that's how deep ultimately that they are. Like you're bringing in guys like Isaiah Joe. Obviously, he played a little bit last year. The other kid, one that he's a rookie this year. Who's the rookie on the Thunder?
Jay Mitchell
came out of nowhere.
Yes,
Mitchell.
He's incredible. I agree with you. Cason Wallace is another one you're missing. I agree with you. I would take the top eight for the Spurs over the top 8 for the Thunder.
See, I just can't. I can't get with that.
Well, we'll just go by points per game. Shall we?
We can't just go by points per game because we didn't even mention Jared McCain, who I'm taking over everybody you talked about outside of the Castle Fox Wemby discussion.
You're taking Jared McCain over Dylan Harper?
The conversation can definitely be had. It's not insane.
What world am I in?
I know he's not a Sixer anymore. You have to forget about him now.
I like Jared McCain.
Was he not going to be Rookie of the Year last year before he got hurt?
I like Jared McCain. I'm not taking him over Dylan Harper, bro. What are we talking about right now? If the Spurs and Thunder traded Jared McCain for Dylan Harper, the Spurs would be investigated. If you go to top, Shally, help me out real quick. You go to top 8 on both teams. You pick one or the other. I don't care what side you go on. Are you taking Victor Wembanyama or SGA this year, going forward, right now?
The only I don't disagree with what you're doing, but I think it's a little flawed, and you're. It's not cherry picking because that's not what you're doing, but like. I think you have to compare Wemby to like Chet. Like I think you have to go by position group because it's going to matter at some point. Like,
I'm just going by first best player, second best player. That's fine. You want to do position group? Wemby over Chet, easy. We'll go SGA over De'Aaron Fox. We can move on.
Yeah,
that's literally what we just did, right? Position group. Okay, move on. Do you want Stephon Castle or J-Dub? Because they're very close. It's not like you think it is.
J-Dub is the answer.
Okay, I don't mind.
I'm not saying it's not close. I'm thinking J-Dub, though.
You say J-Dub is the answer. J-Dub, 17.1, 5.4.
Okay, so if that's what if we're doing points though, then let's talk about Jared McCain's rookie year. Let's talk about how he had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists versus Dylan Harper's 10 points this year.
16.7, 7 assists and 5 rebounds. I'm gonna tell you something right now. You might take J-Dub right now. Going forward in their career, Stephon Castle has a much better career than J-Dub. 100%. No doubt in my mind, Stephon Castle is a better player 5 years from now than Jalen Williams is.
We had the same with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and it's easy to say no doubt in my mind 5 years down the road. We're having an argument about right now. Right now, the answer is J-Dub, and it's a bona fide J-Dub right now.
It's not, though.
It is. I'm not saying it's not close.
What we did this year, you would take Stephon Castle. J-Dub averages 17 a game.
Who's the better player? Let's stop the bullshit. Who's the better player? J-Dub or
right now?
Who is
right now? J-Dub, barely.
Okay, J-Dub. That was the answer.
Barely.
That's the answer. J-Dub. Let's move on.
I don't.
There's too much fluff. There's too much fluff.
Okay, well the next one on the list is AJ Mitchell or Devin Vassell. I take Vassell.
I take Vassell. I don't know why that he would be the next one on the list, but okay.
Because that's what's listed statistically.
So we're just going off of what points per game. That's what we're going off of.
Oh, you want to go Dort? Dort's averaging 8 points a game. We can go Dort.
I'm just asking.
I'll give the Thunder player.
Dylan Harper's averaging 10 points a game. So if we're going points per game, I don't know why he would be this.
I didn't bring Dylan Harper up.
I'm bringing him up. I'm bringing him up. I'm just saying if we're going points
Dylan
per
Harper
game,
to me is part of not the problem, but in a weird way, like. Dylan Harper on a different team obviously scores way more than 10 points a game.
Absolutely.
So it's
dumb to talk about points per game in an argument. Go ahead and say it. It's okay.
Yeah. I think San Antonio's done a really good job of putting the roster together just like OKC did. And you're going to have guys that are They're pulling in the same direction. Again, Dylan Harper could go get more money somewhere else and score 18 points a game. He'd rather stay in San Antonio. And
was a rookie. So,
well, I get it. But my point being, they're both those teams are very good at the guys playing their roles, playing in their situations, and not playing D-ball.
These are a lot more comparable than Cottrell wants everyone to hear at home.
I'm not
They're
saying
a
they're
lot
not.
more
He
comparable.
never said
They're
that.
not
He didn't say
comparable.
that.
I'm saying OKC is.
You asked him
better.
OKC or
OKC
San
is
Antonio.
better.
He said OKC.
I
That's what he
said that I will sign up for price of admission for OKC versus
I think
San
we all
Antonio
would.
in the playoffs. San Antonio is the worst matchup for OKC. OKC struggles shooting the three-pointer. That's the one they go to the hole, and the one thing that San Antonio does better than any team in basketball is defend the rim. And why? Because they have a 7'4" alien that blocks shots everywhere. And it tells you by the times they played this year. San Antonio's 3-1 versus Oklahoma City this year. Because it's a bad matchup for Oklahoma City. It's a bad matchup.
I don't disagree with that.
I'm not saying so. I'm saying Oklahoma City makes the finals if they don't have to play San Antonio. Can I say that? Because if they play them, they're going to lose.
Sure. Absolutely, you can say that. I don't think the Thunder are going to the finals, but that's neither here nor there.
Who do you have going to the finals?
The Denver Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals.
I don't agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think San Antonio and OKC are a little bit of a step above everybody else right now.
And in the East, are Boston, Detroit. I mean, you got tons. Boston, Detroit, New York, Cleveland with James Harden now. Who's going to finals in the East? Not named Cleveland, please.
If it's not Cleveland, it's Boston.
Could make an argument for Detroit. Could make an argument for a lot of teams in the East.
I mean, the argument definitely can be made. I get it. Detroit's the 1 seed right now, but I just
make an argument for the Knicks.
Detroit's got to do it in the playoffs to put it together when it matters. Cleveland's been there. I don't know if Harden puts him over the top. He's never put anybody over the top, so I'm not buying in on that. I don't know what health or what situation the Sixers will freaking look like. I don't think the Knicks have enough. I think Boston, I think with that trade was a sneaky good trade. If they really get Tatum back and he's
I think they will
70%, it'd be hard for me to not pick Boston. And I fucking hate that.
I brought this up this morning. I agree with you. Guy, let's move to you gotta be kidding me. It's just a fun conversation. I wanted to have it. And Cottrell basically called me stupid and said I'm crazy.
What he said.
I'm crazy for comparing the Thunder's depth to the
I'm glad you're here, Bill. I'm glad you're here because that's not even close to what I said.
He called me stupid. He said that Jalen Williams and Stephon Castle aren't even a debate.
No, that's not what I said. I said the answer is clear, and you gave me the answer. You're defending Stephon Castle in this argument, and you said J-Dub is better right now, and it's close. That's fine. It can be close. The answer is J-Dub. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question. Right now, you're redrafting the whole NBA. The next two guys on the board are J-Dub and Stephon Castle, and you're picking them going forward. Who are you picking?
I'm taking J-Dub.
That's crazy to me. That's fucking insane to me.
Why is it crazy?
Have you watched Stephon Castle play basketball this year? Have you watched the growth and the development that kid has? He is a dog, bro. Absolute dog.
And I'm not going to
just forget about it.
Let's not forget that J-Dub has not played for the majority of this season. Like, he's just getting his legs back on. Like, why are we acting like elite? Why does it matter what has he done as elite? When he's out there playing basketball, he's a good basketball. He wasn't an all-star last year for no reason. He wasn't a huge part of why the Oklahoma City Thunder won NBA Finals last year. Like, I'm not just going to forget about all of what happened last year because Stephon Castle has had 50 good games so far this season. Like, that's ridiculous.
Okay. I hear you. Let's get into you gotta be kidding me. Mine's just Cottrell for calling me stupid.
I never called you stupid.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm not You guys must think we get off here and we like hate each other. We don't. We just like debating sports.
All right, so this week for me, I am going to the NFL, and I'm going to a guy who was on what was it, Friday night or Saturday, whatever it was before the Super Bowl, for the Honors Awards, was up for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and a lot of people thought that he might actually win the award. And that is Mr. James Pierce Jr. of the Atlanta Falcons. Over the weekend, he was arrested in Florida for charges including 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated stalking, and fleeing and eluding police. He was taken into custody after crashing his vehicle following a police chase. So, for just more context into that story, James Pierce and was dating Rakia Jackson, who's in the WNBA, who's an incredible player, but that is beside the fact. But they're dating. Apparently, something happened. They broke up, whatever the case may be. James Pierce is upset. He's following her in his Lamborghini, and he's trying to not get her to leave. And so he crashes his car into her vehicle. And then police get there, and he's obviously running away from them as they get there. He tries and he hits a police officer that is, on outside of the vehicle, hits a police officer, and then ultimately crashes his car. And then when he gets out, doesn't just make it easy and give up from there. He's fighting like 7, 8, 9 police officers at a time here. Ultimately, they get him down. He gets arrested, and, he's off to jail. And now Rakia is basically saying that she is willing to, testify against James in this situation. And this is a guy who came into the league with a bunch of question marks as far as his character goes. And then to ultimately have this happen after having a really impressive rookie year, really at any point, but especially following a rookie season where you're up for Defensive Rookie of the Year and you basically just threw your entire career away. I mean, I think this is one of those where this is like the epitome of why we do this segment here. So this week for me, James Pierce Jr.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Did they cut him yet?
Not yet, no.
I just
It's somewhat encouraging, I guess, but
it just happened Friday. He'll be cut before the NFL season starts. He will not make the new calendar year.
Yeah, because I don't know how you get away with not doing.
He's gonna go to jail.
Years of jail time for this.
Well, I mean, the police chase part is pretty much a slam dunk conviction if you watch the videos, though.
Well, he hit a cop with his car. Like, that's.
I don't know.
Shy, I'm sure you have a great one. Go ahead.
No. Talk about Sharon Moore some more if you want.
I am going to. So that was mine. I was going to use that exact one. I have another one now. I had 3. I was going to use the NBA teams for tanking the way they've been tanking, but I'll use this one. I'm so annoyed at Joel Embiid right now, and I'm going to explain why. Joel Embiid logged 33 points in 33 minutes versus the Phoenix Suns. They had their getaway game versus the Portland Trailblazers that he didn't play because of soreness. Okay. Last game of a road trip, just won a game. Okay. So a lot of these games and traveling are really hard on the body. I get it. They get 2 days off, and they play the New York Knicks, the rival New York Knicks, who all the time bring thousands of fans down to the Wells Fargo Center and take over the arena because the Knicks win more in the Wells Fargo Center than the Sixers do. And Joel Embiid sits out there last minute. And currently the Sixers are losing by 30. Joel Embiid will not play against the New York Knicks on Wednesday due to right knee injury management. Embiid felt soreness in the knee after scoring 33 points in 33 minutes during Saturday's win over Phoenix. Oh, by the way, it's Wednesday, just FYI. He then set out Monday's loss versus the Trailblazers in Portland. Sources said, although the soreness has decreased, he's sitting out against the Knicks and will be reevaluated after the All-Star break. Wednesday's game for the Sixers will be their last before their break. I'm tired of spending hard-earned money and having Sixers fans spending hard-earned money to go to the game and get the shit kicked out of them by New York and have the New York fans take over your arena. Have some fucking pride. If this is the Cavaliers, if this is the Indiana Pacers, if this is the Detroit Pistons, fine. They never have enough fans to take over our stadium. But New York being so close to Philadelphia, they're playing on a back-to-back. Jalen Brunson's playing on a back-to-back. Karl Anthony Towns is playing on a back-to-back. Mikal Bridges is playing on a back-to-back. This guy's been off for 4 days and he can't play a basketball game. I'm so sick of that bullshit. I was there in the arena on January 24th when the Sixers played the Knicks in the Wells Fargo Center. It was a great basketball game. Everybody played. It went down to the wire. Sixers end up losing the game, but it was good basketball. This is bullshit. I know 4 people at the game right now that spent hard-earned money to go down to watch Sixers get the shit kicked out of them in Philadelphia by the Knicks because Joel Embiid's, I'm a little sore. Yeah, I had leg day the other day. My knees are a little sore too. Bullshit. So for that, Joel Embiid and the load management.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Sick of it. But we have an all-star break, and they get a whole week off for the all-star break. They'll be back next Saturday.
Yeah, he gets plenty of time to rest that knee, that's for sure.
Yeah, 2 weeks off. I wish I could take 2 weeks off. I had cough this morning. You think I could take 2 weeks off from work? Shit don't work for me. It's annoying. I'm annoyed. I'm not really annoyed. I'm in a great mood, actually. Great mood. Control, any final thoughts?
Got nothing.
Shally, thank you. I know you've been busy at work. Any final thoughts, my friend?
Not a problem. Glad I could join you guys for the last half. It was fun. The little time I was here, and next week, hopefully, be here for the whole show.
I have final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
It's a little self-promotion, but that's okay. I've started a Whatnot channel called Wire2Wire Breaks, Gino8121. If you're in the sports cards, or if you know anyone in the sports cards, you can follow me over on Whatnot, Gino8121. It will eventually be Wire2Wire Breaks. We are giving away massive amounts of sports cards at a great rate. I don't know if anybody collects, send them over to my channel. I have awesome cards, downtowns, autographs. This is one of my favorites right here. Dan Marino, 84 Topps rookie. It's been so much fun to start, and I plan on doing a break maybe tonight where I'm going to break some Optic 2025 trading cards. I might give away a downtown. I got a little Archie Manning downtown. Might give it away tonight. So if I get 10 followers on Whatnot before 9:45, I will give away an Archie Manning on stream tonight. Archie Manning downtown cards worth over $200. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. Had a great time. I'm the NFL Genius Gene Walzak. That's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own College Cottrell, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, Mr. William Shallcross, and we are signing out.